Okay, the main benefit, as mentioned in the previous video, and feature of this horizontal hive is that it does away with all the heavy hard work involved in beekeeping, all that heavy lifting, all the bending. So that's the main feature of the horizontal hive, and you're working at a comfortable height, which is good for most people, and the only thing you're lifting is lids and frames. So the next best feature of this hive is the fact that the queen excluder never has to be removed. It remains slotted in there permanently, and so therefore you do away with that process of squashing bees and digging all the wax off that usually sticks to the queen excluder. So other features of this hive is that I've incorporated 2 hive beetle traps in the bottom floor of the hive, and the good thing about these is they're accessible from outside of the hive, unlike other beetle traps that you need to have the hive open to check them. So what you do is you have about 4 or 5 millimeters of cheap vegetable oil in there, and the bees chase the beetles, and it's as easy as that. The beetles get chased by the bees, they run down the slots and they drown in the oil. So by having these traps, you'll never have a beetle problem in your hives anymore, and all you have to do to maintain them is to keep that oil in there and rake out the slots if they become gunked up with wax or whatever by the bees. So other features are, in the lid I've got a bevel in the side of the box and under the lid, and that allows you to insert your hive tool easily, because there's a wedge or a V shape in there, and that allows you to just easily insert your hive tool and prise up the lid. So the lids have slots here to allow air to flow through the hive and through these slots, and if they get clogged up with wax you can rake them out with your hive tool as well, and so air can then flow out these little channels in the sides of the lids. Now the best way I've found to actually close up your hive, like when you're closing up your hive, there's bees walking around on the top of the frame, so you just gently shuffle the lid up to the queen excluder, and it can only go that far. So this lid system is actually a telescopic lid system, which is better than in the previous video, which was like a migratory style lid system. And there's a bit of play in the lid, so you don't need to be too accurate about, lining it up perfectly, but it's limited as to how far it can go. So when you're closing the hive up, the best way I've found is to pull back the tin of the honey chamber lid a bit, not that far because it's caught there, so you just pull it back onto the wood, and there'll be bees crawling around in between the 2 faces of wood there. So you close it up to about 4 or 5 mil, so the bees can't get up from the bottom anymore. Apply a bit of smoke, the bees come out, you close up your lid, and then it's just a matter of pulling that tin over the brood box lid, shut it up like that. So the thing you have to do when you're setting up this hive is have it on a slight slope downhill so that the water can shed off. The other good thing about this hive is that because it's like 3 feet off the ground, you can easily maintain it with a whippersnipper or a lawnmower, unlike other hives that get, with a whippersnipper and a lawnmower, it really agitates the bees, so that's another bonus kind of feature. So if you're interested in ordering a hive, you can write an email to Scott at Horizontal Hives Australia at gmail.com, and so this is what you get when you order a hive. You get the base, which is already screwed and glued together, so you need to paint that. After it's painted, you apply 2 beads of silicone around the edges, and then press the floor, which has the 2 beetle traps incorporated into it already. Press the floor onto the base and line up the back of the tin with the back of the base, press it on all around, and then the front part of the tin, which overhangs the base there, that becomes like the landing platform for the bees before they enter the hive. So then comes the box. The box doesn't come put together because that'll take up too much space, but the thing you have to remember about the box is when you're putting it together, you have to have the bevel on the outside, and the slots in the sides of the box where the queen excluder goes, they obviously have to go opposite each other. So the smaller end of the hive is the brood chamber, the larger end is the honey chamber. And so just remember the bevel's on the outside, and the front of the hive has the entrances there for the bees. And so the back of the hive, also the other thing you got to remember, bevel on the outside, and that just allows you to insert your hive tool a lot easier when you're prizing up the lid. So I usually screw and glue, pre-drill, screw and glue the sides together, the whole box together, and make sure when you put it together it's square. So then comes the lid. You get the queen excluder, which slides down that slot once it's put together, and so you've got to paint your box as well. And then comes the lid system. So the lids are already put together. You just have to paint. I wouldn't bother painting the plywood, just paint around the edges because that's all pine, and so that's all screwed and glued together in one piece already. So then you got your tin, and like I say, I wouldn't bother siliconing the tin onto the actual lid because it allows you to actually have the benefit or ability to slide the tin back when you're closing up the hive. So that's the whole hive. As I said, send an email to me at Horizontal Hives Australia Horizontal Hives Australia at gmail.com. And in the future I hope to make other videos on different bee subjects, like transferring frames over from a normal hive to a horizontal hive, manipulating the frames to prevent swarming, other things like extracting honey. One good thing I've got down there on a hive is I've actually adapted one of the hives to suit some flow frames, and I really can't wait in the future to actually see the honey pouring out of those flow frames. And so that means it's like, with flow frames in one of these hives, it's like a double whammy of goodness. What you've got is, with the horizontal hive, all that hard work and unnecessary steps taken out of the whole process of beekeeping, and you've also got, with the flow frames, all the hard work and sticky work of extracting taken out of beekeeping. So that's just made the whole process of beekeeping a lot easier for everyone, and a lot more beneficial for everyone, easier, whatever. Anyway, stuffed that bit up, didn't I? Alright, thanks for watching. Happy beekeeping. Thank you. Bye.